Hello and welcome to the One About Podcast, a show where we talk about things we read, watch, and play each week. This week, we're ramping up the Christmas spirit with possibly the single greatest Christmas classic of all time. This is the one about It's a Wonderful Life. I'm your host, Dean. I also go by Endless Colon places around the internet, and I am joined this week, as always, by my own guardian angels, John and Jordan. What's going on this week, guys?
Oh, that was cute.
Oh, I'm gonna throw myself off a bridge. What's up? What have I been up to this week? Let me tell you what I've been up to this week.
Okay, that was my question, so that'd be nice.
Ew. We not say it like that at all. Ever.
I haven't been really doing much.
You're such a fucking idiot.
This
Oh my god.
this evening though, I watched the Lego Star Wars holiday special on Disney Plus.
Oh, I saw that. What is that?
It's a shit show.
Is it like a Lego recreation of the holiday special from forever
No,
ago?
no. It's something
Okay.
completely unique. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Essentially, it's after episode 9.
Okay.
It basically the story is it's Life Day, and now that the new Republic is in order and peace is brought about to the galaxy for the second time in 30 years, they are celebrating Life Day for the first time. So everyone flies to Kashyyyk. So it's Chewie, it's Poe Dameron, it's Finn, it's Rey, it's Rose, it's
Ew.
C3
Why you say it like
C3PO.
that?
I hate
Jesus.
Rose. C3PO, R2's there, BB-8 is there, and so's Dio. Which Dio in this movie actually grew on me a little bit. I kind of like Dio. So they all land on Kashyyyk and they want to celebrate Life Day. And Rey is training Finn how to be a Jedi, which is the first thing. Like I saw that and I turned to Lauren. I'm like, is this canon? I'm like, I had to Google it. So because like I know in episode 9 they teased Finn having force powers and stuff, but in this one the movie starts with her. This is not canon, of course, but it's just the concepts and stuff that they deal with. It's assumed that it is canon, right? So was training to be a Jedi, and he had Rey's yellow lightsaber, and they're training, and Finn's having a hard time learning and picking it up. It's all kinds of goofy Lego stuff. And yeah, Rey's reading from the text, and she's upset because she doesn't know how to train people to be Jedi's, and she's reading from the ancient texts, the sacred texts, and she's not getting anything. There's no like how to train your dragon chapter in the books, and she's frustrated. So then she reads something that's in the ancient Jedi text that says, "Oh, if you go to this planet on Life Day, then it'll show you your future." Or it'll guide you to your future, something like that. So Rey alone leaves, and everyone else doesn't want her to leave because they're trying to celebrate Life Day and they're trying to have a big old Life Day party. And they're trying to find a tree on Kashyyyk to put inside the Millennium Falcon. It's actually kind of cool. Oh, well, not cool, but it's endearing and cute. And then there's a bunch of other Wookiees, and they start having the party, and then Chewbacca's family, the other Wookiees come, and they start fucking everything up, just being obnoxious ass Wookiees, and it's hilarious. Anyway, so Rey's on
This
this
is like
other
way
planet.
more in depth than I expected.
Sorry, I didn't mean to give a whole synopsis, but I just wanted to bring up the main like plot of this movie and like what was just ridiculous. So Rey goes to this planet, the Jedi Temple, that's of course in some snowy mountain peak because they can't help themselves, fucking Jedi. And she finds this ancient artifact that's there, and the ancient artifact, when she like twirls it in a circle, opens up a portal through space and time. And the rest of the movie is just her jumping around famous Star Wars scenes. And then she accidentally has those characters follow her into the portal because she teleports to where the Emperor and Darth Vader are planning on going to get Luke on Endor in episode 6. And then they catch her, and then Vader jumps in the portal after her, and then they start teleporting back and forth. And every time they teleport, they grab more people, like Anakin and Obi-Wan come, and then Qui-Gon Jinn falls in, and then Darth Maul is there, and then like all these other stormtroopers are there, and then they fucking teleport to Tatooine in episode 1, and the whole like freaking 2 pod racers fall into the time portal, and they're all just falling through these different scenes, and it becomes a huge clusterfuck, right? And then it ends up being like this big fight scene between Rey and Darth Vader, which come on, Rey and Darth Vader are fighting, and then Luke and um, Kylo Ren are fighting. Episode 6, Luke and Kylo Ren are fighting. Because Kylo Ren gets all looped up into this. Then the Emperor likes Kylo Ren because the Emperor also is in the time loops. And Emperor is like, oh my god, I want Kylo Ren to be my new apprentice. Fuck Vader. Literally, he says that to Vader's face, and Vader's like, oh man, that's not very nice. Literally, those exact words. So Vader's a bitch. Kylo Ren apparently is better than Darth Vader, is what the Emperor says, because Kylo Ren informs the Emperor of everything that was going to happen. So the Emperor knows that Vader is going to throw him down the shaft. So Emperor's like, that's not cool, dude. I want you to be my apprentice now. And at the end of the day, she puts them all back in their proper time. They don't explain that, like, no memories were wiped or anything. So that would have ruined everything, right? But anyway, Rey learns her lesson that all masters make mistakes, and that's part of learning. And she needs to go back and celebrate Life Day with the rest of her friends, and she does that. And the movie ends.
Wow.
It's fresh in the mind. I just watched it like an hour ago. So, smash or
that
pass?
sounds terrible, dude.
Pass.
Pass.
Hard
Pass.
It's a cute movie, but it's a hard pass from me, dude. It's not even like the coolest part of the entire movie was they teleported, and Rey and Darth Vader were in the middle of a lightsaber duel on the same volcanic river at the same time that Obi-Wan and Anakin were dueling in the 3rd episode. So they were like dueling around each other, and they're both like, who the fuck is that? What's going on? And they're all lightsaber fighting, but they don't know who each other are. And that part was kind of cool, but Vader made no reference to that scene. Like, Vader is not like, oh, I hate this planet. Like, there was no throwaway line that made it funny or anything. It was just kind of cool to see it. So it was the equivalent of like having toys and then like playing with them and being like, oh, we're like using your imagination, just playing with Lego toys. So yeah, you can probably cut all this out, but pass.
Jesus Christ. All right then.
No, I mean, I think your insane and inane rants are part of your charm, man.
8 minutes. Got it.
John, what have you been up to, man?
Fucking playing Rocket League that you got me addicted to.
Yo! Yes! I'm so happy. Dude, we had an awesome time playing Snow Day stuff. We were pretty good.
Dude, that puck game sucks.
It's
hard.
Jordan, you would be so proud. I've been getting so fucking salty at my teammates, man.
Yes.
I switched from team only chat to all chat, and I just throw out toxicity wherever I can.
Yeah.
That's what it's always supposed to be.
Just fucking every time I dunk a goal in there. What a save! What a save! What a save!
Ooh.
fucking nobody anywhere near there. What a save! There's one point where like my teammate blocked my shot on goal, which would have definitely gone in, hits it back our way, and then dunks it into our own goal. And I want to believe it was a mistake because he's like a bronze or a silver ranked player like me, right? But I couldn't help myself. I hit the touchpad and I typed out, "Wow, nice."
Yeah.
And he left the game, and I don't understand why.
I'm proud of both of you. The salt runs deep.
Dude, I've been extra like because the other day, what was it? Was I texting you yesterday, John? When I was like fucking these kids up, right?
Yes,
like
that was definitely yesterday.
That was yesterday. Okay, like I was playing out of my mind, Jordan. Like I was playing
Awesome.
like a mechanically inept platinum level player. Like I was
let's calm
fucking up these noobs. But the problem was, like, I was getting even more salty with my shitty teammates.
Yeah, because you know that you're on fire. You're working your ass off,
Right.
but that last little piece, that last puzzle piece, because you can't do it all yourself, failing. Was it standard or doubles?
Doubles.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a hard one.
So let let me break down this one play for you because I
Mhm.
felt the need to break it down for John when I was talking to him about it. Imagine this: you're playing twos. You're winning 3-1. There's 30 seconds left. You personally have all three of your team's goals. You miss a shot to go up 4-1. Your teammate types, "My team is butt."
Oh, that's
Just-
oh,
Bro,
ungrateful son of a bitch.
right? We fucking won 4-2, and the son of a bitch is like, "My teammate sucks, man."
Dude, that's the worst. I love
It's
and
like,
hate those interactions.
it's like you little piece of
Telling you,
shit,
no
dude.
other video game gets me as fucking pissed off as Rocket League does. But with that yang, it's the yin of those just fucking dominating wins. Because nothing feels better than just absolutely fucking crushing those damn noobs.
Oh, dude,
Jesus.
I was getting some sick aerial dunks and
Yeah.
shit.
Oh
Like
God.
I was I was out there doing shit that I have no right or reason to do.
You were
It
thrown
felt
out. Let's goes.
I, I didn't even throw out the let's goes. I was throwing out get back on defense. Like,
You were in the moment,
dude,
executing.
I forget what I said to somebody. Like I typed out something to them instead of using quick chat. Like I actually typed out something to him.
Yeah.
Not toxic, like telling him like what I was gonna do and like what he should do and blah blah blah. And homeboy was like, no. And he just didn't do it. Like he didn't leave the
He
game.
didn't
He just like
cooperate. Yeah.
he just sat there and literally did nothing. He went AFK and watched me play by myself. And
Trash.
I was like, listen, bro. I know we're playing cash right now, but you need to step up your game or we're gonna lose this bitch. We're only up 5-1. Come on.
What a fucking idiot.
We were doing good on the snow break though, you know.
We
Yeah.
were. Me and John had far less success in that mode, but
So bad.
It's
Hated everything.
it's my least favorite extra mode, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
no, actually I think I like it better than hoops. I think hoops is my least favorite.
dude, it got so bad for us at one point that like we played 3 or 4 matches with this one guy, fucking Kevin, man. Like back and forth with this fucking Kevin guy. We won one, we lost one, we won one, we lost one. And I got so fucking ripping pissed at Kevin at one point that I was just like, fuck it. And I demoed him on purpose and then just left the game. I was like, fuck this. I'm not playing Kevin no more. I don't want to play this game anymore, Grandma. You win.
You win.
Jesus
Fucking
Christ.
John stayed in there and kept playing for some reason. And then he
Because
started
I stick
another
through.
game and kept playing without me. And I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, I
I hope
stick with it. I was trying to get my shit.
the next season they bring out something like last summer they had a beach ball mode, and the beach ball mode was so damn awesome because it's just the ball, right? But it looks like a beach ball. But the fun part is it's really lofty and it kind of moves like a beach ball does, right? Like you can punch a beach ball and it just kind of like poofs and then it slows down, right? Because
Yeah.
it's not dense at all, and it has curve. So you can fucking hit the beach ball and you can hit it on a certain angle and it'll curve around as it spins in the air and get goals. It is the funnest shit ever. So I really hope that they reintroduce that. Like it'd be cool if they did some kind of snow variant of it where I know they're doing the ice puck thing, but hopefully like after the Frosty Fest, they bring out a special game mode like that. That or Spike Ball. Spike Ball is always a fucking treat. I can't wait for you guys to play Spike Ball.
Spike Ball?
Yeah, Spike Ball is a game variant where it is just standard 3v3, but everyone always has spikes. And you can
I don't
turn
think
your.
John has ever played Rumble before.
Oh, have you not played Rumble, John?
What the hell is Rumble?
So there are in the game select screen, there's the extras mode there. If you click on extras mode, that's where the original ice whatever it is, like the hockey puck mode, that one's always in there and you can rank in it. There is hoops, which is just Rocket League, but you have to get it into hoops. So it's a lot of aerial shit. And then there is breakout. Breakout? Breakdown. Fuck, I can't remember what it's called
Breakout
now.
is car.
Yeah, it's something.
Break the system?
Fight the power.
Fight the power. Don't you love that anime? Drop Shot. Sorry, I was way off. It's called Drop
Oh, fuck
Shot.
that mode.
Drop Shot's actually a lot of fun when
No, it's
when
not.
you're good with aerials. It gets really
No,
fun.
it's not. No, it's not.
Jesus
Don't worry.
Christ.
I hated it forever too, and then I stopped hating it. But anyway, the last one is Rumble, and Rumble is standard 3v3, except they give you powers every 10 seconds, and the powers include plungers that you can bring the ball towards you, extra power to your hits, spikes on your car, so if the ball touches you, it sticks to you for a certain amount of time. There's like a spring punch that you could unleash and it punches the ball. You could freeze the ball. It's fucking chaos, but it's actually a lot of fun. So one specific power from that, which is spikes, is leveraged and always on in Spike Ball or Spike Rush. Sorry, it's called Spike Rush. But with the caveat that you can turn off your spikes whenever you want. So you could go up the wall and then fly off the wall and then turn your car and turn off the spikes mid roll and you flick the ball into the goal. And it is the most satisfying thing ever, and it's a lot of fun. And there's a lot of demos too, because if you touch someone with spikes on, they like insta demo. It's a
pretty hot.
blast. It's a blast. I wish it was a standard mode. I think it's good enough to replace hoops and be a like standard competitive mode that you can rank in. But
I
they like
think
to
it's
keep
better
things.
than every other extra mode, dude. Like Rumble is easily the best extra mode in
Oh,
my
easily.
opinion.
I
And
think all
like
the other ones started as experiments. Like Spike Rush and the Beach Day Ball. They were all experiments that were loved so much that they were brought back into the fold and they were
why
set as standards. Yeah, I've talked a lot, but John, what else have you been doing besides playing Rocket League?
Coaching Dean on Demon Souls, which is a blast.
Demon Swole.
How's
It's
that
a
going?
straight up blast. It's freaking hilarious because he was getting his ass beat.
Whoa, 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 whoa. No, I definitely was not, dude. John John thinks I was getting my ass beat because like he's traumatized from when he went through these as a melee character. But like I'm way less gun shy about shit. I will say that there were a couple of moments where I shit my pants a little bit.
Excellent.
Um, but I only died once, I think.
Twice.
Did I die twice?
He did.
When did I die twice? I remember the
You
I don't
got
remember that.
you got your
When did I
ass
die twice?
ate by the dogs,
Yeah. I remember
and
that.
then you got killed by the trap.
By the Oh, yeah, the one that you didn't tell me about and you just saw me get
First of
myself killed
all,
by. That's cool.
first of all, I said put your shield up, and you had time to roll before you got shot. So go to hell.
I mean, instead of saying put your shield up, you could have been like, "Hey, dude, there's a trap down that hallway. So, before you step on that thing, that's totally gonna get you fucking killed. Put your shield up and then walk onto it
See,
because that's gonna shoot arrows at you."
That's
Like
the
that would have
thing
been
is
profoundly useful.
I didn't remember it until I heard the sound. And once again, I said put your shield up, and you still had time to roll. So, not my fault.
Well, Yeah, because when you told me to put my shield up, I had already started to panic because I hit a trap. Like the thing about Demon Souls is like this is the height of FromSoft's like fuck you game design where like there are moments in there where they'll just throw shit at you that you have no way of predicting or knowing it's coming and then you'll just get fucked and you'll get killed. And it's frankly kind of not fun, which is why I like playing through it with PS5 screen share with John because he can be like, "Hey, you're about to get fucked if you turn that corner and you're not ready for it."
Awesome.
Because I still have to fight all the battles and shit for myself, but like, I don't get jumped by this fucking maniac with a hacksaw around the corner,
Yeah.
which totally happens.
Yeah.
Um, like there's one where like there's a bunch of wooden bridges and you just walk across wooden bridges. Who gives a shit? One of the bridges just collapses if you walk on it. Like, okay, fuck you guys too, man. Like, the fuck is that? But
I'm so sorry.
and then this motherfucker starts telling me like, okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna cheese this section, and you're just gonna like glitch roll over this wall. And he's got me trying this for like a half an hour to the point where I'm like, are you fucking with me? Is this a real thing?
Telling
It's
you
like, no, I
straight
swear to
up.
God, this is a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he finally got it. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Anyway, Demon Souls is a lot of fun. I want to get back to that. I want to beat it. I was looking at it. I'm gonna pull it up right now. The trophy list is kind of easy looking.
For your playstyle, yeah, it's 100% easy.
Like the hardest part about it, because like the first, what is this? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 trophies are just for beating the game. Then there's 2 for doing the co-op shit, which I don't know how hard it would be to vanquish another player as an invader, because I don't know what that entails, but it's probably not that hard since it's a fairly common trophy to be had. Um, and then after that, there's a number of trophies for like beating specific bosses in specific ways. And those are the ones where I'm like, I don't know how hard that because I've never fought these guys. But then I'm also sitting here like, if I want these trophies, I'm gonna have to play the game again.
Yeah, the one where you have to get all the spells and all the miracles, you that requires at least 2 playthroughs.
Does it really?
Yeah, because miracles and spells, certain miracles and spells can only be bought with demon souls, and you only get that once per playthrough.
Oh, because multiple spells require the same.
Yep,
Oh well, that's cool. Thanks for telling me that. I'm not even gonna bother with these trophies now.
no problem.
Um, because
That's what I'm here
I'm
for.
like I'm not playing through this game multiple times. Power picks. There you are. Number of playthroughs. Minimum
Um,
number of playthroughs 3 without save scumming, 2 with save scumming. That's still not great. Like, I only shave off one of the 2 additional playthroughs if I save scum. Like,
that doesn't make sense. If you save scum, you should be able to get everything you need. You should get like multiples.
I guess it depends on how it deals with it. Like, I don't know the mechanics of it, so I couldn't tell you.
Oh, the only way that I can think about it is like you can only copy a demon soul twice. Because the way I'm thinking about it, the game inherently knows that you can only get one demon soul per playthrough. So if you have 2 demon souls on your character, it'll probably crash the game, or it won't recognize the second demon soul
I mean,
at the same time.
I mean, y- we're talking about save scumming, not dupe.
Oh, so what's saves coming? What's the difference?
Save scumming is when you like so like there's a choice that you have to make at a certain point. You save, make the choice, then reload your game and make the opposite choice.
Uh, okay.
So yeah. I don't know how that would really help you, but I don't know what you'd be save scumming for, so I don't know.
Yeah, I
Whatever.
don't. I'm
Point is
trying to think about that.
I'm not
Yeah,
beating the game multiple times. So
bitch.
I can link you to this guide if you want to platinum the game, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna
Please
beat
do.
the game. Oh, okay. I will.
Do it
Demon Swole.
right now. I'm gonna buy a Komodo and a Maverick. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jordan. John is going on. We might have to have an intervention. Like he can't stop spending money in Rocket.
No, oh, it's a Komodo and a Cyclone. Yeah, that's what I was. Komodo and a Cyclone.
Like
Um,
he bought the starter pack the other day. He
yeah.
bought the Rocket Pass. He bought the $20
Hmm.
starter pack or whatever. Like he he just can't stop.
Oh yeah, I did. Did I tell you I got the Sentinel, Dean?
Oh fucking Christ.
Well, John, I'm proud of you.
God damn it.
I mean, the Komodo's like only $5, man. That's what I'm talking about.
As he scratches his neck.
Ugh. Ooh, Gray's only $1 more.
Wow. Okay, so moving on. So guys, we watched a movie this week, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes, we absolutely did.
It's a Wonderful Life, directed by Frank Capra, released in 1946 in black and white. I think this is only the second movie that we've watched that was originally in black and white. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, the first one was by choice. That was the House on the Haunted Hill, right?
Yeah,
What
but
do you mean that by
we
choice?
watched that one in color though, but originally it was filmed in black and white.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
This one we watched on purpose. Black and
Exactly. Yeah.
So as always, I gotta ask you guys, what did you think about this?
I loved it. Way darker than I remember. So I have seen the movie before, and it's actually my wife's one of her favorites. I told her that we watched it, and she was mad that I didn't watch it with her. So, but incredible movie. Um, way darker, like I mentioned, than I remember. Great ending. Still like the humor from that time in 1946. I had some chuckles, right? Like it actually made me laugh a number of times. You know, it was just so well written and so well acted that it was really profound. Great movie. Would recommend it to anybody.
What about you, John?
Yeah, I liked it as a really long build up, but like that's just basically it creating like world building and like the connections between George and the town and why he's so important. So like I understand the build up. The payoff was really good at the very end. I really liked it. I really liked it.
I'm glad to hear you say that because the last time that we had a really slow movie to start out, you really didn't like it.
I
So I was a
mean,
little concerned.
yeah, but like that's
This
the
movie
thing
was
is like
longer too.
when I watch a slow building movie, like it's more okay. Is the build up gonna pay off in the end? And like I couldn't even guess what was gonna happen in the movie. I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, he's wished himself back to life, but I mean, he still lost $8,000. What the fuck's gonna happen? And then that, guys, I've never watched this movie before. I have never read anything about this movie. I just know it's been referenced to death, and this is my first time ever watching.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a very white people movie, so
I
I'm not super
understand that, like
surprised you've never seen it. But
that's a well. My mom's favorite Christmas movie is A Christmas Story. So
ew,
what?
is she
Excuse
one
me?
of those? Is she one of those people that watches the marathon every year like 30,000 times on Christmas Day?
No, are you a fucking idiot? No, we got her an ultra Blu-ray so she can play it whenever she wants.
I do.
On top of the 30,000 times on Christmas
So
Day.
I
Yes.
do love A Christmas Story. That is a favorite of mine, and back when I did have cable and was at my mom's, we would watch it once, but then we wouldn't just keep it on though. We would watch the movie once, and then we would move about our day. And
No,
actually,
that motherfucker's on repeat all
I
day.
know, and so is I believe so is Twilight Zone, or it used to be like Twilight Zone used to be like there was a Twilight Zone marathon on Christmas, and my mother and I used to watch that all fucking day long. That's one of our favorite
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that was one of those movies where I would put on that all day marathon and ignore it most of the day, like while I'm doing other stuff, like cooking Christmas dinner or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So I would only watch it once, but like across the 30 showings that they have during the day.
If I have to hear "You'll shoot an eye out, kid," one more time, I swear to God.
And then he shot his eye out. But this isn't that movie. This is a totally different
Very
movie.
different. Actually,
So
go ahead and continue.
go
Go ahead
ahead.
and continue.
So I was gonna say at the top of the show, I said that this is possibly the greatest Christmas movie ever made, and I do believe that. But it's worth noting that this movie was a huge bomb at the box office. It did terrible, to the point where um, studio heads were really wondering if Frank Capra lost his touch and couldn't make a big budget movie anymore.
Really?
This movie cost about $3 million to make and needed to hit about $6 million to recoup its budget and break even, and it only made a little bit more than 3 million, like $3.3 million at the box office. So
Wow.
it was a huge failure. And only years later did it become,
A cult classic.
well, I mean, it's definitely not a cult classic anymore, but it kind of built up steam after it left the theaters. And now it's just a straight up, to the point where it's often on lists of greatest films of all time.
That's pretty awesome.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but this was never meant to be a Christmas movie. It's just they used Christmas time to
As a
yeah, like as
backdrop.
a plot device, you know. But like, it's not a Christmas movie.
Um,
I don't think he intended it
right,
to
like,
be like
yeah, like the plot of the movie isn't really about Christmas.
yeah.
The turn of the flick happens on Christmas Eve, but the I guess the most Christmas thing about it, other than the turn being on Christmas Eve, is how overtly religious the entire thing
Hmm.
is. But yeah, I would agree. Like, I don't think that it's necessarily a Christmas movie. Although I will say that, um, to kind of expound on what I was saying before, this movie gained popularity as a Christmas movie once it fell into the public domain and it could be broadcast without like licensing fees and stuff. So, um, television channels and such just started blasting it out there all the
For
time,
sure.
which is interesting because Jordan, you were telling me that public domain usually lasts for about like 95 years or something like
Hmm.
that, which this movie is still short of, but it's already in the public domain.
Yeah, I mean, I maybe that's music that I was thinking of. I don't know. But I thought it was
No, I looked it up. You were right. You're 100% right.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know why this one is already in public domain, but it's a good thing it is. It's a great movie. It should be
Yeah.
shared amongst everybody. It's got a great message to it. It is a little bit too religious for today's audience, for generally for today's audience. Not that there isn't religious moviegoers out there. Of course there are, but um, most movies wouldn't be this blatantly religious. Christian, right?
Right. Here's a fun fact. This movie has a sequel.
Really?
Yeah. 1990 made for television film Clarence, all about the guardian angel Clarence.
When did that come out?
1990.
1990?
Yes, sir.
Was there any returning actors or anything?
I
Definitely not
hear about
Clarence.
it.
I mean, I'm,
He was
I'm
old as
looking at
dirt.
I'm looking at it now. It doesn't look like it, but it's so the sequel is essentially the same plot but with different characters.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the character of Clarence is played by somebody else who's much younger than Clarence in the 1946 version, which is interesting.
They
But
should have aged him with movie magic.
he's like way
Eh.
younger. But that's regardless of that, it circles around totally different characters after that point. So it doesn't look like anybody would have returned
Was it Clarence after he got his wings or before?
after.
So he was he would have been AFC? No. What was his acronym for their class system they had for angels?
A oh wait, a
He was angel second class.
yeah.
A2C, was it A2C?
That's I was gonna say that. Yeah, I
So he
guess that would be
was,
right.
yeah,
A2C.
yeah. He abbreviated it for and gave an acronym, which I thought was weird, but yeah, he was A2C. So then in the '90s movie, he would have been A1C.
Right.
That's the
Yeah, I guess
highest.
so.
That's the highest class of angels.
Unless it goes the other way.
I'm gonna stop.
Because we don't know that it's not like angel first class, second class, then third class, and third class the highest. I don't think we know
Oh
that.
yeah, I don't know.
I
But
would
then it's
assume
like
you're right, but
first class the highest, and like what's like archangels? Are those like zeros? Is it gonna go into like double zero class? Start scaling like in Yu Yu Hakusho did.
uh-huh.
It's like
Yeah.
everyone you face now has been D class. It's like now we're gonna start getting into some B's, A's, and S's. Oh wait, you fought some S's? There's double S.
Here's another fun fact for you.
Yes.
There was purportedly a totally different sequel in production, uh, set to be released in 2015 called It's a Wonderful Life, the rest of the story. Says
Okay.
here it was to follow the angel of George Bailey's daughter Zuzu, played by the same actress who played her in the original film, as she teaches Bailey's evil grandson how different the world would have been if he had never been born. So the same plot again, but following the family years later.
Huh.
But apparently that got shut down.
Why?
Um, so it says that Paramount, a Paramount spokesperson claimed that they were not granting permission to make the film, that they had not obtained the necessary rights and would take all appropriate steps to protect those rights. Which is interesting since the movie's in public domain, but nevertheless, that is the story of the actual sequel and the purported sequel that never was.
Oh, okay. I mean, it seems like after this game garnered a huge following, that of course they try and make sequels to make bank off.
Right.
It's just interesting, like the way that they went about it, and the fact that they just literally rehashed the same story, which never works out for a sequel. Never.
It's a good story though. You know,
It's a
like
perfect story, Jordan.
it's a
Oh God! All right.
the way it was told in this movie, it was like this movie has one of the most believable and engaging character developments that I've seen in a movie. And that is George Bailey's from just being a kid, seeing his experiences as a kid, seeing how he grew up, his personality, all the way up until the end of the movie.
Right.
That arc, his character development there is so believable. You really understand why he is the way he is, why he's so distraught, you know, and you just get this connection with him at a level that I really don't have with most modern movies. Right? Like it takes me an anime of like 26 episodes to get to that level of attachment. And this movie did it in less than 2 hours for George Bailey. Did an incredible job with that story.
It's interesting because when you think about it, most of the movie is the story of George's life, and nothing really happens. Like you see all the things that kind of lead him to the. So let's back up for a second.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of the movie, we see two galaxies who were calling angels for some reason, talking to each other. and they're talking about this guy George Bailey who is gonna commit suicide, and they describe it in an interesting way too. They say something to the effect of he's gonna throw away God's greatest gift, which right away is not only an interesting way to say that without saying it, but also really sets the tone for how religious this movie is.
Oh yeah.
Um, but the crux of the film is this angel first class telling this lowly angel who doesn't have his wings yet, Clarence, the story of George Bailey so he understands who he is before he goes down there and tries to convince him not to. And so we see him like as a little kid. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I think the first thing that we see is him, his friends, and his little brother s- riding shovels down a snow hill
Hmm.
onto a frozen over lake. And his brother falls through some thin ice into a raging torrent of a river in the middle of this lake
Hmm.
somehow. And so George jumps in to save him, which from which he catches a cold, which infects his ear, and then he loses all his hearing in that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And right away, like it's interesting to watch now, what 80 some years on, where like this isn't even something we would consider as like a possibility. It sounds like a fairy tale. It's so far fetched today. But the movie take at that point takes place in what is it, Jordan? 1918?
Yes.
And they haven't found penicillin yet, which you also pointed out very astutely, that I hadn't considered, but that's exactly right. Like they hadn't discovered penicillin yet, so there's nothing they could do about it. It's just tough shit. You got an infection in your ear, now you're deaf.
Yep.
Yeah, which is wild, right? Because I'm sure all of us have had ear infections. We've never thought that we would lose our hearing.
No.
Bro,
You
Yeah.
know?
I have I have problems with there's something about the structure of my ear canal where like when I go swimming shit, water gets trapped in there, so I have chronic ear infection.
Oh my goodness.
To the
Mm.
point where like the last time I went to a doctor, I was seeing a new doctor because we moved, and they did a little thing where they look in your ear or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, you had a lot of ear infections when you were a kid." I was like, "How do you know that?" He's like, "Oh, you have a shitload of scarring on the inside of your ear from all the infections you had over."
Wow.
Um,
Did you ever have tubes when you were a kid?
tube?
Yeah, like tubes put in your ears?
No, I don't think.
Oh, well, it's very common that they'll put because like kids, get a lot of ear infections. Like I had them when I was younger, so did Lauren. But you just like they're just these tubes they put in the ear to help it drain better.
Huh? Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever had that. But
Really?
But then again, like it could be something that I had and I just don't remember. My memory is
Yeah.
pretty shitty.
I mean, I
Um,
had a lot of head colds when I was a kid,
yeah.
and like to the point to where I got my tonsils taken out when I was 5 because they kept on getting infected. I'm one of
Mm.
those guys. I've never
I
known a life with tonsils.
I
Mm.
never had my tonsils out. I still have my tonsils
Are they
Same.
fun? Do you feel them?
Stupid. Are they
every
fun?
day, Jordan. I just sit there and play with my tonsils.
It's
Can
just
you
like
actually touch them with your tongue?
sitting there is like, oh, thank God for my tonsils.
No, but I can feel them with the back of my tongue.
Oh, that's so
Ooh,
weird. I've
that's
never
hot.
known what that felt like.
I like that shit.
Do,
My
did
mouth
you have
is
your
a
tonsils out too, John?
No.
Oh, okay.
bunch of clogged mouthed sons of bitches.
Yeah, I mean,
My
Really?
mouth my mouth is free. That lets me eat better. Less
And yet you
obstruction.
still be clearing your throat every 30 seconds.
yeah, no shit,
Yo,
right?
dude. I actually think I think that's part of it. I know, I just fucking did it. I really do
Oh
think that's
fuck.
part of it. I've always just had this like I'm just constantly clearing my throat because it's so mucusy usually. It's just you don't need to know about that, but it's kind of gross.
Oh man, that's
Just is
disgusting.
what it
Yeah, I've
is.
never
Yeah, I
had my
know. I'm gonna be
tonsils out or my
dude.
wisdom teeth.
I'm gonna be a terrible old man, dude. If I have these types of mouth noises now when I'm fucking 30, can you imagine when I'm like 60?
You're gonna sound like a
I'm gonna,
goddamn turkey.
dude. I'm
Your
gonna
wife
talk
is
like
gonna
Jabba the
kill
Hutt,
you in your sleep one night, dude. You're
dude.
gonna be
She
like
really is.
70 years old and she'll be
Yeah.
I
like,
don't.
that's
No.
enough. Stab. You
That's
don't snore
I'm
now.
done.
Slit his
Yeah.
throat. Pull his tongue out through it. Excellent.
I don't know
Peace
what
and
happened,
quiet.
officer. I woke up and he was just bleeding everywhere.
My God.
Ma'am, you're still holding the knife.
No, I found it like
Shut up,
this.
bitch.
She stabbed the cop.
Jesus.
Ruthless.
But yeah, no, I do remember one time I had an ear infection. It was so bad that like I I was a latchkey kid. Um
Hmm.
Hmm?
and I would go swimming after school or whatever, and
What is it? What's a latchkey? What do you mean?
it means like your parents had to work, so when you got off school, you just let yourself in the house all by yourself.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah. Okay.
Um, I actually don't know where that term comes from now that I think about it, but
I have never heard it, but I suppose I'm a latchkey kid too, because my mom
it's
was raised me by herself. So
I imagine a lot of people our age are. It's an old term that doesn't really matter. It's not really
latchkey.
relevant anymore because like it's probably so common that it's less of a descriptor and more of like a the way it is. But anyway, I had an ear infection one day and it got super bad. To the point where like I called up my mom and I was like, "You need to take me to the doctor," and blah 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 blah. She's like, "I can't leave. I'll take you when I get home." By the time she got home, I was just like screaming in pain. Um, to the point where like she drove me to the doctor where I'm just like wailing the whole time. People are looking at me in the lobby like, "Oh, what
Jeez.
the fuck did she do to him?" So yeah, like I remember that, but I don't remember ever having tubes in my ears. I imagine if it's as common as you're saying, I probably
That's an old solution. I mean, they still do it. You know, it's been around for quite some time. I don't remember like them actually putting the tubes in my ears because I was less than 5. But you
sure.
know, for really young kids that have trouble with draining and stuff, because when you're less than 5, you're not going to stop and go, my ear feels a little full. I should probably tell my mother about this and properly drain it. No, you're just going to keep running around like a damn animal in the
Yep.
mud and not even think about it, you know?
Yeah. So George loses his hearing. This is the first of many awful things that happens to
I mean,
George.
awful. We're gonna say awful. I guess mildly
Yes, are you
inconvenienced.
what the fuck?
He's like, Jory, he just had a bad run of things, you know? They weren't that bad.
Just
Yeah, he just had
mildly
a bad
inconvenienced.
run of things. He ended up deaf in one ear, got beaten by the druggist downtown.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god, and he was like, "You
Druggist.
slapped me in my sore ear," and like I noticed, so I was like, "Oh, that shit's bleeding." All right
Yep.
then.
Yep. He had to give up on his dreams of going to college, gave the money to his brother, and watched him become successful and
Yep.
find
In
a
every way,
wife.
shape, and form.
His father had a stroke and died. He had to take over his father's position at the local building and loan, even though he
Under,
hates that place.
yep, on top of the fact that the guy that's been foaming at the mouth to close that motherfucker down, he hates with an almighty passion.
Mr. Potter. He hates the Baileys.
Oh man, Mr. Potter. I can't wait to talk about Potter. Um then he's stuck at home during WW2 because he can't
The
hear
ear.
shit.
Yep.
Oh, you forgot even before that.
What did I forget?
Um, he got the girl. I want to say that's the only good thing that's happened to him is he got the girl, and the girl and the town are the best thing that ever happened to him, because his honeymoon, the town gave him a honeymoon because he gave up that honeymoon money right at the dawn of the Great Depression, when everyone was trying to pull their money out of his bank or his
Right.
loan company. He had to give up all of his honeymoon money back to the town. He kept that business afloat through his own personal sacrifice, and he got a very modest honeymoon out of it,
Yeah,
out of
that
a
was super nice.
ramshackle, drafty old house.
Yeah,
Um, yes, and
that
then
was super
then
heartwarming. Yeah.
then stayed home during World War II, while his brother went off and was awarded all these war Medal of Honor, things
I
like
mean,
that. He
he
was an ace
shot down
pilot.
15 planes, 2 of which were gonna crash into a transport.
Got him,
Yep.
dude. His brother was a
Got
freaking
him.
superhero. His brother was a superhero, man. He really was, and his brother was living the life that George always wanted to live. But a credit to George's character, he never really in this movie showed resentment towards his brother. He just showed regret towards his decisions, or he lamented his inaction.
Yeah, and
Especially when he missed out on the deal to get into plastics. His best friend offered him that deal to get into a plastics factory, and then he saw his friend later in life, and he's just swimming in money, right?
Yep.
Swimming in money.
It's funny because I was gonna say I think that's the one moment in this movie before the end, of course,
mhm.
where he outwardly shows his frustration with this situation.
Yeah, because he
The
actually
plastics
had.
factory.
Right, when
Yeah.
Sam is talking about how he offered to let him in on the ground floor and he turned him down, and now he's swimming in money and he's still grinding away day and night at the building and loan. And then when Sam drives away, he like kicks the car in frustration. And
Yeah, he's always seemed to have a very sunny disposition, no matter what's happened to him.
yeah, and I actually brought it up while we were watching the movie. And Jordan kind of asked me what I meant by that, so I guess I'll expound on it here. There's this little like game of chance um that the druggist has in the drug store. Uh,
Uh, apothecary.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it? I
Yes.
don't know. Whatever. We're just gonna call it drugstore. But Mr. Gower has this.
No, apothecary is a person. My bad, but
Yes.
there is a specific term for it.
Okay, so the drugstore, um, where basically you pull this handle and either the lighter that's at the end of it lights or it doesn't. And so we see twice, 3 times, 2 or 3 times that George will pull this and make like an outstanding wish. Like, I wish I had $1 million, but whatever. And it lights and he's overjoyed and he's in high spirits and this and that. And my comment was like, that's a great little piece of subtle storytelling because it not only shows you George's general positive disposition, but also you learn so much about this item and by extension kind of about the way that things are in this town and Mr. Gower, that he has this little game thing in his drugstore and like all these things just from this little interaction from this game of chance that he happens to have that the movie never explains to you at all. It just shows it to you and lets you infer all those things by yourself.
Yeah. It was really cool.
There's a lot of those subtle things in the movie. A
Yeah.
lot of those metaphors. The movie's caked with them, and that really
Yeah,
draws you in.
it's 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 nice to watch a movie that doesn't treat you like an idiot. It lets you watch it and understand it all by itself.
Yeah.
There's definitely a different experience when you're just watching it haphazardly, and when you're really consuming it. You know,
Right.
there's definitely a different because I want to say this is the first time I've really actually paid attention and watched the movie. And previously, it was just like on at a family member's house, and I just kind of watched it, and oh, every time a bell rings, that's cute. Movie's over. Let's go pound some eggnog, dudes. Did I mention I was in a frat house? No, I'm kidding.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
um, having the opportunity to really sit down in a vacuum, watch it, understand um, Frank Capra's vision and direction in the movie was fantastic. I got a lot out of it. I really did. I loved this movie.
Yeah. This is a movie that I play for the family every single year at Christmas time. Usually on Christmas Eve, but like this year a little bit earlier. But nevertheless, I make an absolute point of watching this movie every year, and part of that is what you were talking about. Like you can watch this on a really superficial level, and it's still this nice little Christmas movie, or you can really watch it and absorb the information that's in it and get something really profound out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Down to the last little quote in The Adventures of Tom Sawyer that Clarence writes to George. It's kind of kitschy, to be honest, but in the context of the movie, it's kind of moving. You know, like you spend 2 hours, over 2 hours with George Bailey, and you see his descent into despair and watch him get pulled back out of it by everybody around him that cares for him. And I might butcher this quote, but it says something to the effect of no man is a failure who has friends,
Hmm.
which you know is it's a life lesson that you can really take away from.
And one day I'll get there.
Yeah, good luck with that. I don't know where you're going to find anybody who will bail you out, but I mean, I believe in
So sorry.
They have Tinder for friends.
you. No.
Ew,
It's called
what the? No.
Swipe right if you like Star Wars.
Hey guys, just a dude hanging out. I love my Xbox. I love Halo. Love Mountain Dew. Love Star Wars and other things. Hit me up if you want to chill.
No
BYOB.
Doritos. Swipe left.
Ew.
Like, nope. Sorry.
Ooh, I'm fiending for some spicy hot Doritos now. Jesus, yes,
Yo, those spicy nacho Doritos are banging.
they are amazing.
They're one of the best for sure.
So, after all of that, the real turn of this movie for George happens when good old Uncle Billy
Uncle Billy. Yep.
accidentally gives the bank deposit to Potter, who straight up steals it and then laughs maniacally in his dungeon of an office, complete with shrunken skull on desk.
A weird ass paperweight.
Yeah.
Is it a paperweight? Is that what that thing's supposed to be?
That was my assumption because it looked like a metal paperweight.
Mm.
Regardless, I want one.
um, and not only tells him to fuck off when he comes crawling to him for help to save him in his time of need, but actively calls the police on him to have him arrested.
Oh, dude,
Jesus.
just drills him in his office, giving him that false hope, and then he's like, "And I'll call them, and I'll tell them." Just
Dude,
like you knew he was waiting decades for that.
Yeah.
if
I mean,
Potter could still walk, I feel like he would have walked over there, unzipped his pants, and cock slapped him right in the face.
Yeah, he metaphorically put his balls on that table.
oh Jesus Christ, that is a horrifying scene.
It
Poor
really
Uncle
is.
Billy.
Meanwhile, he's got George's nuts in a vice grip like it's Friday after next. And
And
go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, there are so many moments and there's so many lines in this movie that promote and exemplify George as a character and as a person.
Mm.
One of them, I think, outshines the rest for me. It's that He knew Billy messed up. He was so mad at Billy. He was choking him. He was yelling at him. Billy was absolutely disheveled. He was a disaster of a man because he knew the the gravity of the mistake that he made losing that money, right?
Right.
But still, when George confronted Potter, hat in hand, tail between his legs, he did not blame his uncle. He said, I lost the money. He took full blame for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mr. Potter was eating that shit up. The worst
Yeah.
part is Mr. Potter never got his comeuppance throughout this whole movie.
I think that's a lesson in its own, though,
Yeah.
right? Because I feel like a modern movie would make it too easy. A modern movie, Clarence would give him the $8,000 back. A modern movie, Potter would be put to jail for tax evasion or something stupid, you
Oh
know?
no! A modern movie would have them find out that Potter was the one that has the $8,000, and then he'd be
There
taken
you
to jail
go.
for it.
Yeah, there was a video camera or his assistant came and told the police or something, right?
Right.
But this movie showed how important it was to be that, to be that pillar regardless of anything else, right? It showed George Bailey sacrificing everything for his moral character, even though he was consistently getting nothing in return.
Yeah.
Nothing in return whatsoever. And this movie didn't give him easy wins. They were hard fought wins, but the wins that he got were from his sacrifices. 2 times the town came to his need because they knew how important he was to them. Even freaking his maid or his mother's maid, who we can
Oh,
talk about that as well.
Annie is a fucking pistol, man.
Mm-hmm.
Even her bringing that money in, she was like, "I was saving this money for when I got married, so I could have money for a divorce or something like that." I'm like, "You're fucking hilarious." But you know, this movie, more than a lot of other movies that I've seen, shows that hey, that struggle is worth it. There's value in being a good person even when no one is watching, and I think that's one of the largest things that I took away from the movie. That was the largest lesson that I took from it.
I mean, I would say to kind of expound on that a bit, I think the larger lesson for me in this movie is that life sucks and you're going to take a lot of L's. And to be a truly good person, you have to just hold that L sometimes
Mm-hmm.
and do the right thing anyway. Because in the end, it's worth it. Even if in the moment, in the year, in the decade, you just feels like everything's crumbling in on you all the time and you're just getting kicked in the nuts over and over and over and over again. You're working for a greater good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what, like, just be the best person that you can, and hopefully life will turn around and reward you for your best efforts. It may not, but it's better than being an asshole to everybody just because life kicked you down.
And George wasn't rewarded with an equivalent exchange.
No, not even close.
No.
Nowhere near. Freaking Ed and Alphonse would be out of their minds right now. This was not an equivalent exchange.
That's kind of a deep cut now.
They would be losing it. He put in way more. He took way more L's, at least as shown in the movie, of course. He
Yeah.
took way more L's than he did W's. He was a Dolphins fan. And
Dude, he's a Browns fan.
he's a Brown. I don't know. Browns are actually kind of turning the tables now, but
Oh yeah, after 50 years, they got a couple of W's.
oh,
Good for
we're
them.
getting back.
Get him.
Yeah, but it is just it shows strength of character. It shows who you aspire to be, right? And you and Endless Fable brought this up a couple times. Like that's the father figure you want to be, right? Like that's who you aspire to be.
Yeah.
That that
That's
that pillar, right?
that's the person, right? Like
Yeah.
beyond his stature as like a great husband or father. He's just that idyllic, perfect, selfless human being. But like in reality, I mean, it's a movie, right? So in reality, most people at some point are going to be like, fuck this. I'm going to get myself a W. I'm going to take Potter's offer. I'm going to succumb. I'm going to get my money. And then I can be a good person again. Like when Potter gives him that job offer, I feel like most people would take him up on that. Like they
Oh,
know it's
100% without question. Yeah.
yeah, like they know it's not the morally right thing to do, but like at some point you just gotta take a little victory lap for yourself. And George Bailey is that guy who stands by his his
Moral
morals
code.
and
Yeah.
never gives in to Potter, even though in that exchange he really wants to. He really wants to, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna talk to Mary about it." And no, I can't do this. I have to be the better man. I have to protect Bedford Falls from you. But
Mm-hmm.
he got real close, man.
Yeah, it,
Super close.
we see that temptation everywhere. I mean, companies nowadays are joining, they're merging at an increasingly rapid pace. It feels like the new American business model is build a product that garners a moderate amount of success, sell it off to a larger company, and then just walk away with that golden umbrella, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not, that's part of those acquisitions, and that consolidation of wealth and power is, part of the reason that we're in the economic state we are today. But this shines a light on no, there is pride in hanging your hat on a business that is your own and focusing on community first, because George Bailey built those homes, those suburbs, he funded that. That,
Well,
that that was all him. And you can see when he was never born, guess what happened? They changed the whole damn name of the town to Pottersville.
yep.
And you don't see him at all, which I thought was which is a really surprising choice, because they easily could have shown Potter in this new world once Clarence takes him back and shows him what it was like if he was never born. They could have shown Potter, on his throne, Scrooge McDuckin jumping into a pool of money or something, but they didn't. The only part of that scene, or that arc, was just the name of the town. I think that speaks in volumes to the influence that he would have had George Bailey never been born, right? The
Yeah.
identity of the town itself was fundamentally changed without George Bailey's influence.
Which is pretty huge. I'd be feeling myself after such a realization.
Monumental, dude. If you ever see a town named Blakesville, don't move there. That's mine.
I mean, it's another one of those things too, right?
Oh, they couldn't help themselves. You knew they'd be storyboarding. Oh man, what if we show Potter and he has all this money, and what if we show Potter and Mary's employed by him and he's treating her badly and he fires her on Christmas Eve. Oh man, let's just turn him into Ebenezer.
Just
Which in
turning the
this
screws
movie
on them, yeah.
he was essentially Ebenezer. He was kind of a parallel,
I
but he
mean,
had no.
Potter in this movie, to me at least, is a representation of the snake in the apple tree.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, being that he's the only evil. Well, let me think about that.
Not the only evil, but he's definitely the greatest evil. On top
I
of,
wouldn't even call him evil though.
he's
Like
just he's tailoring to your base desires to, like, be rich
Oh wait,
at the
hold
expense of
on.
everyone else.
I have a thought experiment. We
Oh,
usually do
okay.
this. We usually do this with monsters. Let's bring out the alignment chart.
Jesus Christ.
Where on the alignment chart is Potter? I
um
think I'll go first. I think he's lawful evil.
you think he's lawful evil?
Yes.
Mm, no. I feel like he's neutral evil.
Let me send you a description for lawful evil in the chat. I think it exemplifies them perfectly. Or I'll just say it. A lawful evil character is an evil character who either tries to impose or uphold a lawful system on others without regard for their wishes and or adheres to a particular code. They believe in order, but mostly because they believe it is the best way of realizing their evil wishes.
I mean, I don't think he has evil wishes. I think he's just a greedy bastard.
That's my point. It's like I don't think that he's actually evil. In fact, there are multiple points in this movie where he's right. Like he's just straight up right. It
Yeah.
may not be the
What you want to
morally
hear.
right thing, but he's logically correct.
He's pragmatic.
Yeah.
So
That's-
what do you think he would be?
He's not true neutral. That's why I say he's neutral evil. Because even though he's pragmatic, he doesn't weigh in the.
Do you have a little definition for all the different things, Jordan?
Yeah.
I mean, I put in the only other one that I think he may be, which is chaotic neutral.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
A chaotic neutral character is an individualist who follows their own heart and generally shirks rules and tradition. Although chaotic neutral characters promote their ideals of freedom, it is their own freedom that comes first. Good and evil comes second to their need to be free.
Yeah, I mean, I think like if you switch out free with money, totally him.
If you switch out free with success, right? Like if you define freedom as financial success, then sure. But I think it's definitely a toss up between both of those. It's just how you interpret his character. If he's purposely being malicious, which I think he is, because he stole the money. He's specifically
not really.
Well,
that's without doubt evil. Like that is something that he did. That's
like he had no. I feel like a chaotic neutral character wouldn't steal the money and then leverage the knowledge of the gap in that deposit funds to specifically target George Bailey like he did.
No, I think it was more of an opportunistic thing because he stole it after he realized the money was in the newspaper. It was more Uncle Billy's talk, like it was Uncle Billy like talking shit and took his newspapers like, oh, look at my nephew, blah blah blah. You can't keep the Bailey boys down. Like if Uncle Billy didn't do that and basically like straight rubbing his dick in his face about how good the Bailey boys are doing, he never would have got that money. Now, after he found that he had $8,000, no offense, there are a lot of people here who would not say shit. It's like, oh, it's $8,000.
Yeah.
So here's a brief description of neutral evil that I found. And I think this is absolutely who Potter is. It says doing whatever they want if they can get away with it. Like, that's absolutely Potter. He'll do whatever the fuck he wants, which is usually what gets him more money, as long as he can get away with it, as shown by the fact he just steals $8,000 out from under him to get what he wants, because he could get away with it.
Yeah, like, I mean, if, no offense, like, I'd be hard pressed, depending on, like, what position I'm in, if $8,000 literally just fell in my lap, on top of it came from a person who was talking shit less than 2 seconds ago, I might pocket it. I might just have to pocket it.
Neutral evil, that's a good choice too. I didn't consider neutral evil.
What I've been saying from the beginning? From the beginning?
So this is the more fleshed out one that Jordan provided. Neutral evil is the philosophy that the self is best advanced by using whatever means necessary. It is a philosophy of egoistic, good God, consequentialism. The philosophy holds that people should behave egoistically and embrace any social order that allows them to gain the most power. Yeah, that sounds like him to me. I would 100%. Say he's neutral evil then.
John wins.
Yeah, I think I agree with neutral evil.
Damn right, John wins.
I'm gonna go with chaotic evil, just so John loses.
Chaotic evil would be him just murdering him in the office.
just slitting Uncle Billy's throat. It's like, oh, come in my office. Bailey boys ain't doing so good now, are they?
No, chaotic evil is stealing the money, then when George comes, then slitting George's throat.
Jesus Christ.
And then he kills his assistant just for shits and giggles.
Dude,
I
the
love these
fact that he makes
infographics.
so much bank that he has some dude pushing him around, like we all know he can walk. He just doesn't want to.
I mean, the D&D alignment chart is far from perfect, and it just overgeneralizes humans, which is it's impossible. Like the second you start generalizing that kind of stuff, you're going to find caveats and you're going to find a lot of gray area. But it's fun. It's a fun thought experiment.
Sure. So it's that time of the show, as we do, where I must ask you, gentlemen, what was your favorite part?
John?
Damn, put me on the spot, Jordan. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Honestly, my favorite part was when he gets berated by the druggist, um, and like being like beaten the crap out of, like screaming, "You're like slapping my sore ear," while Mary is in there eating ice cream and hearing all this, and just stood frozen. And the druggist is drunk after getting a letter that his son died of pneumonia or influenza.
Influenza. Just a
Influenza.
merciless letter.
Yeah, and then George is the one who saw it, and then he finally blurts out, "I was like, I know what you did. I know you're sad, so you didn't pay attention. I'm not gonna have you kill somebody. It was poison. I tell you poison,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna tell a soul." And that is like probably the embodiment of George's true character throughout the whole movie until like the end where like life totally craps on him. That he will take everything upon himself to make sure that everybody else has a wonderful life. Everybody else is happy. And he'll take on that burden for them even without their knowledge. Like honestly, if the druggist didn't beat the shit out of him, he probably would have never told them. The only reason the druggist came at him like that is because the woman who was expecting the drugs hadn't gotten them yet. But like, and then on top of that, he still didn't tell anybody. After he got beaten the crap out of, ear was bleeding, he still respects that guy's reputation in the town and knows how much that means to him, on top of being so compassionate to his situation at the time that he would hold that secret that would literally have ruined his life.
And I think that's a great analysis. And you're right. He literally has taken hits for people, right?
Yeah.
Multiple hits. And you see the impact that decision made. And once again, silently doing the right thing with he got nothing out of that. He got
I
absolutely
mean, he got a fancy ass suitcase, you know. That's
later
cool.
in life, yes. He was gifted that baller suitcase that was
Yeah.
embroidered with his name.
Hot dog.
But what?
That's what he says. Hot
Oh yeah,
dog.
you're right.
Yeah.
But there was no direct benefit. He just knew it was the right thing to do, and you're
Yeah.
absolutely right, John. That speaks to his character so much, and we see what happens if he wasn't there, right? Because Mr. Gowan is a drunk bum who
Went to
went
jail for 20 years
absolutely, yeah, for
when he
poisoning.
was already old as dirt.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The impact of that is huge.
Monumental.
My favorite line in the movie, I can give you a favorite line, and then I can't point to a scene, but maybe I can. But my favorite line in the movie, let me get my notes. Hold on. Cue in book pages being flipped and a monologue of me searching through a library, or montage, not monologue. Okay, let me see
Gotta have
here.
a montage.
Even Rocky had a
Montage.
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 Rocky had a montage.
I
Montage.
love the end of the movie when he's on the bridge and Clarence jumps in And George sees him there without thinking, immediately throws down his jacket, dives in, saves Clarence, and they talk in the I don't know where they were after that, right? But
Ooh.
I loved that scene mostly because I loved the line. Clarence says he's like he asked him why he jumped in. He's like, oh, I jumped in to save you. And of course George is like, no, you didn't. I jumped in to save you, more or less, right? Love that line. That's also when he dropped the angel second class, and the guy in the background, as he's hearing this conversation about angels, he's getting more and more freaked out. He keeps trying to spit his chew, but he has to swallow it back every time because he just gets shocked by something Clarence has to say. And eventually he's just like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And he just runs out the place because Clarence is just talking like a madman. But Clarence keeps on bringing up the fact that he doesn't have wings. George keeps asking, "Where are your wings? Where are your wings?" Like, I don't have any wings yet. That's why I'm here. You're gonna give me my wings. I just love that scene. And then of course the subsequent um, dream sequence, flashback, alternate reality thing that Clarence does. Not super defined as to what exactly it is, but that whole entire part of the movie, that arc is just wonderful, fantastic.
Oh my god. Can we talk about how like the whole town basically became into like a red light district?
Seriously, Nick's pub, right, was popping, dude. Oh, the funniest line the whole movie was at Nick's because they were shitting all over Clarence and George at the bar, right? Nick was getting pissed off because Clarence wanted to order this 200-year-old drink, and they were talking about angels, and he was just annoying the piss out of him. Mr. Gowan came in after they were already arguing, and after they kicked everybody out, the thing that made me laugh the most was Nick kept on opening up his register and closing it, and it was dinging every time. He's like, "Look, guys, I'm handing out wings," and he just keeps on dinging it over and over again. I was like, "You son of a bitch!" Well, that was pretty funny.
what?
Dude,
What an asshole!
I love how Nick's like, I don't need anybody coming in here adding atmosphere to the joint, classing up the place.
What about you, Dean?
We sell hard liquor here to get people drunk fast, all
Yes,
right?
yeah, yeah.
It's my type of bartender.
So for me, my favorite part about this movie is definitely the end. Uh, just because that payoff after the absolute roller coaster that you go on through the rest of this movie is so heart-wrenching. Like I get choked up every fucking time. Years on, like I said, I watch this movie every single year. I've seen it a fucking unfathomable amount of time. And every time it gets me right here. Every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the dick.
Right in the balls. Actually, it's more like in the taint, if I'm being
Oh,
honest.
Jesus Christ. It's a hard to reach area,
In
too.
the grundle.
Yeah, right in the grundle.
The crevices.
But yeah, I mean, just like we were talking about earlier, George Bailey's that guy that you want to be, and watching him go through all this shit and be this close to throwing it all away.
After being
And
such a good person, right? His
right,
whole
and
life.
not knowing all this good that he's fostered and this love that he has around him, and being shown in the most dramatic way possible by people that he wouldn't even have ever even considered, like Sam, who sends him a telegram saying, we can send you what was it, like $25,000 or something like
25,000,
that,
yeah.
Yeah.
which
Which
is an
is an obscene amount of
what
money in that time.
$25,000
Inflation,
in
19.
1946 is roughly $308,000 today.
Oh, is that all?
That's a lot of money for just,
Yeah.
here's some pick-me-up money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
No, not
that,
even that. He was told to send him that much.
right? By his company, like by people that presumably he doesn't even know.
Yeah.
Um, it's just such a powerful scene. Like every single person in town is coming in and dropping money. Like he doesn't even need the money anymore, and they're just throwing it at him. Um, it really, really touching.
Yeah.
It is. It's definitely an incredible movie. Really strong message, a selfless message. Has, like we talked earlier in the episode, a lesser movie would have just given George everything, right? This movie didn't give him anything. It gave him a new perspective, but ultimately, everything he gained, he had worked for. He worked for the town's love and affection. He earned that that act of charity towards the end of it because of all the actions, all the silent actions that he took. It wasn't as easy as just Clarence going, here's your, Potter was found with the $8,000. He's going to jail. Billy's not a drunk anymore. Congratulations, he's sworn off the booze. They don't give any. They didn't give any easy W's, man.
None.
Nothing.
Like it was probably, I think that's what makes this movie and ending so great, is that it's realistic.
It's
Yeah.
You know what I
absolutely
mean?
realistic. Yeah, like that's as like in life, you're seldom ever going to break even. So be happy with what like be happy with those little wins.
Yeah, and like for George, I think it was the biggest win to know that all of his selfless acts mattered such a great scale that he couldn't have even have fathomed that he meant so much to so many people.
Yeah, they wouldn't have.
Because like
Presumably, they wouldn't have done that for anybody else in the town.
yeah, and like you
Definitely
would
not doing it for Potter.
No.
you would think like most people don't even like would like to think is like, oh yeah, it mattered to a lot of people, but for someone to show you how much you matter to like a whole town, I can't think of many people that I know today that I'd just be like, oh, if they weren't here, like a place on a map would be totally different.
Fundamentally changed. Yeah.
Like just geographically change the architecture of a society if one person wasn't there that I know personally. You know what I mean?
Maybe we just hang out with bums.
I mean, hang out with you guys.
Case in point.
Yeah, I mean, Dean, if you ever feel the need, you can come down here and start throwing money at me. That's fine.
Believe me, I don't.
You never know when the mood will strike.
Oh, I
If you
feel like making
if
it
you
rain at
miss
Jordan's.
if you misplace $8,000 and you're going to jail, call someone else.
That
Oh my
one phone
god,
call is not going to you. Okay.
It's just
dude.
like, hey, what's going on, man? I need 8 grand right now, or I'm going to jail for the rest of my life. Hey, man, it was nice knowing you. We had a good run.
Jesus.
I'll be lucky to get
Yeah,
that. I would expect a click. Beep.
yeah.
I'm going through a tunnel.
There's no tunnels in
That
Florida.
actually leads me to like a bit of a tangent because growing up, I think my dad had a lot of sayings that he would say over and over again that stuck in my head, and one of them was, "If you ever go to jail, don't call me. You put yourself in that situation, you can get yourself out." And I remembered that.
Oof.
Like it stuck with me to where like there's certain situations where I was like, I can do this. I was like, no, because if I go to jail, I know for a fact my father would stop my mom from doing anything to get me out of that, and I would have to get out by myself.
I don't know, man. Some of the things that your parents have done for you over the years, I don't know if I believe him, but
I'm telling you, I mean, my parents are some of the like the best parents ever, and like I'm not the man today. I wouldn't be the man today if it wasn't for both of them making a lot of sacrifices and sticking with the fact that I just grew up as an asshole and was very hard headed, to where I was like actively working to fail in a lot of instances. Um, but I know for a fact there's certain things that my father would do to teach me that lesson. Like especially being a black male, like he's like telling me straight up is like, do not go to jail. Do everything in your power to never be on the police's radar.
Sure.
Because once you're in that situation, he's basically saying like, even if I come and get you, like the repercussions of what you did is going to follow you for the rest of your life. So it's honestly not going to matter if I get you out of jail.
I like the presumption that you fucked up, dude. Like,
Oh,
there's no presumption of innocence. You're guilty
no,
until proven
Yeah.
innocent.
no. Like my father had my back, but he knew who I was. And my mom, she called me out on my shit point blank to my face. So I didn't get away with much in that household, and I thank them for that from the bottom of my heart.
Sure.
You don't ever think that way when you're going through it, though, right?
Oh
It's hard to have that
no!
perspective during it, right? Because I remember being a shitty
Oh,
little
during
teenager
it,
too. Yeah.
yeah. Like, dude, there's times where I visit the family, and my aunt, time and time again, is like, "How did you end up so good?" Because I was a spoiled little shit. Like, she's told me multiple times, like, "How did you end up so good?" Like, the most reliable one out of all the children. I was just like, I honestly don't know. I can't tell
So I was a sleeper.
you. I was just waiting for my moment. Ha! I'm a good boy.
Well,
Oh, oh, Jesus.
I think it's that time. Let me go through my notes.
Here we go. Jordan's
The
hitting the
notes are
notes.
coming.
The pages flipping.
Beep, beep,
A
beep, beep.
A lot of snow in this movie. A lot of snow. Oh, actually, I want to talk about that. At the end of the movie, that foam snow. It was so thick, and it was obviously foam, right? Dean, you brought it up
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a really awesome trick for black and white movies. It had to have been some kind of foam. Maybe I'm wrong, but had to have been some kind of foam.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looked like
Oh.
really thick, soapy water.
Yes, exactly. It looks like they
Yeah.
were filming in a bubble bath.
Oh, dude. Did you guys? Was it just me or like? I know this was made in the 1940s, but did you realize all the nasty cuts that they did?
Oh, oh, the scene,
Oh man, did we
Super
ever?
the
jarring.
scene with
Yeah.
Billy, with Uncle Billy and Potter in the bank. Oh my
Yeah.
God! What
Dude.
was?
The
I
most
wonder what happened then, right?
Dude, the
Yeah.
most hardcore whiplash during that scene.
What would have caused that? Like was someone like sneezing or farting during the scene? They had to keep
I don't
stopping it.
know.
Like
They're running out of reel, so they had to just like deal with what they got. Like I don't know, man.
it was
That
so
was
jarring.
yeah,
It
100%.
really was.
Just like, listen, our budget's gone, but we need to do this reshoot. So we're gonna do it one time, and we'll just make it work.
We'll make it work. I mean, it's almost worse than Santa Jaws, where they didn't do another cut of them throwing the goddamn spear into the lake. I still get. Did nobody want to swim and get it again? They could just get another spear and throw another one. Like I don't understand. Okay, we're done. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna do it.
Spear landed
Fine.
flat in the water. Nah, we'll fix it in post.
Dude, like you could throw a spear like in the worst possible way, and it shouldn't land like that.
Mm-hmm.
So stupid.
Oh, I can't wait to edit this episode.
No, the spear tangent must stay, dude.
Why do you think Clarence had a copy of Tom Sawyer?
I don't
I've
know.
thought about that. I don't
Yeah?
know.
What's the meaning? I mean, like, is that supposed to mean something to the director, or is that supposed to be like a parallel to like what's happening to George? Like the Adventures of Tom Sawyer and what Tom Sawyer goes through, like what George goes through?
I don't know. I'm trying
I
to look
mean,
it up right now.
yeah, to be honest with you, I don't remember everything that happens in Tom Sawyer other than that he calls oh boy the N word because he doesn't know any better, which is honestly like one of the most powerful scenes in the book about how
Maybe they
learned practices are more more detrimental than you realize until like a scene like that comes to light.
I mean, Dean brought up a really clever throwaway line that Clarence throws out when when he's drying out his Tom Sawyer copy after they fall in the river. Um, he's like, Clarence mentions to George, he's like, "Oh, you should read the new book Mark Twain's writing now." And
Oh snap!
Mark Twain would have been dead by then, so he's writing it in heaven, presumably. So
Hmm.
maybe they just thought of that line and they're like, yeah, let's put a Mark Twain novel in there just so we can write that in. That seems kind of,
Maybe
I don't know, that doesn't seem
kind
like
of weird. Yeah,
So
I
the
want.
only
I was
thing
hoping that it was like a point, like a more poignant point to him, like saying he's reading the Adventures of Tom Sawyer.
the only thing that I can find about it that might be it is that there's a scene in Tom Sawyer where he witnesses his own death or his own funeral.
Hmm.
Uh, so maybe there's just like a
it's an illusion.
right.
Huh.
So that's the only thing that I can find. It might just be as simple as Frank Capra likes the Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Who knows?
During that opening scene with the Galaxy Angels, which I want an anime about that, by the way. Um,
Oh my
they're
god!
talking about Clarence and they kind of deliver a pretty ruthless line in describing Clarence, the two archangels or whomever they are. They're like, he has the IQ of a rabbit, but the faith of a child.
Yeah,
Like, ooh, ouch.
fucking
Jesus,
savage,
Oh,
man.
another
those angels are not nice.
another awkward line that would not go over very well today. Um, when George was a kid, I think it was either George or Harry. I don't know which one said it, but they were talking about what they wanted to do when they grow up, and a part of the description of what they want to be and what they want to do, one of the boys mentioned that they wanted a couple of harems.
Yeah, that was George
George said
that
that.
says that.
Yeah,
I think it's George. I'm pretty sure.
yeah. And watching as much anime as I do now, that means a lot. That's very different of a meaning.
Multiple harem
Multiple harems, yeah,
and
All the
maybe a few
heroes.
and
wives. He said.
just multiple harems.
And I don't think that has different meaning, dude. I think it means
The sa-
exactly what you think it
so
means.
even as a kid, he knew what was up.
Jordan's got those big dreams still kicking around in there.
Yeah, just one of those days. I want them. I want those couple harems. One's not good enough.
And maybe a few wives.
Apparently, I read a factoid that the school that they filmed the gym dance scene where the floor opened up to reveal a pool,
Yeah.
that actually still exists in Hollywood and is still functional.
Huh.
I thought it was super unique. I've
Interesting.
never seen anything like it, and apparently it is still around and still being used.
I don't know what for, but sure.
Swimming after the big game. I don't know. We didn't even talk about this movie's most iconic line. When him and Mary go on, they're walking home after the prom, and George is holding up his football pants because his clothes are all wet, and Mary's just wearing a robe, and George is obviously trying to. He's got some advances, you know. He's a little hungry,
Hmm.
you know. He's being promiscuous, and he says that like the iconic line about the moon, like, "You want the moon, Mary? Throw a lasso around it." That thing has been.
Oh, come on. Don't fuck it up, Jordan. If you're gonna
I'm
quote it
paraphrasing it.
right.
Please, what's
Don't
the full
fuck
line?
that.
I'm
Pull it
paraphrasing.
up.
Oh my god,
Pull it out.
Lazy
Wait, what?
bastard.
it deserves the full line. You're right. You're right. I'm trying to paraphrase all my notes here. I apologize. The full quote is, "What is it you want, Mary? What do you want? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. Hey, that's a good idea. And I'll give you the moon, Mary." That's the
I'll
line.
take it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take it. That's what she says. Iconic, has been parodied for almost 100 years now, right? It's been in so many different forms. It's been mocked, it's been mirrored, it's been directly quoted. It's an absolutely iconic line. I would say it's probably the most iconic line out of that movie.
Um, if we're talking about lines that are directly associated with this movie, then yeah, I would agree with that.
I think that's
Yeah.
yeah.
The only one that I think rivals it, and I don't even know if we can actually attribute it to this movie, but the whole every time you hear a bell ring, an angel gets its wings thing. But if that's from this movie, it's transcended the movie itself.
Yeah.
Um
Like I've heard that multiple times, and I've never seen this movie.
um
Jordan's hashing it out in his mind. Could this be from this movie?
like
Is it
its
possible?
origins from this movie? I don't think so. I think that was a known little idiom before the movie itself. It's a random thing for a movie to coin that kind of stuff.
So I googled every time a bell rings quote. Come first thing that hits, it's a wonderful life.
Sure.
It's a wonderful life. 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 Wonderful life.
No way it started with this
Who
movie.
says every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings? Zuzu Bailey. It might be, man.
That's
Dude.
bold, dude. That's like just making a movie and being just coming up with just I don't even know an analogy for that, but just coming up with a random saying, right? Oh, every time you knock on wood, someone gets cured of leukemia. Like just some random shit. I don't know. Maybe it did. Maybe its origins is with this movie. That's kind of profound.
If it
Like
is,
creating.
then that's definitely the most notable quote from
Yeah.
because like I said, it absolutely transcended the movie itself to the point where we don't even believe that that could possibly be from this movie.
You're
It's so
absolutely right. Yeah,
prolific.
you're absolutely right. I'm reading some random circumstantial stuff saying that there was probably an idiom before this movie, but this movie was propelled it into mainstreams, right? Like that's
Which is certainly possible. But I mean, I would also say that, like, if that's the case, it seems like its real origin has been lost.
sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's
And this
And
definitely
at that
movie
point,
movie
the
overshadowed it.
right. But nevertheless, I think that the quote that is most associated with this movie is last one.
is what? Oh, Last on the Moon. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. What else you got in those encyclopedic notes there, Jordan? I
Dude,
wouldn't
you
want
gonna call him
to move on
Encyclopedia
without
Brown?
letting you clear them out, bro.
This has
You
become a thing.
asshole.
I've been doing this since day one, but now it's just a thing that I have to review my notes before the end of it. So
It's a segment.
yeah, and
It's
now
now
it's
a
literally a
segment.
segment. You know?
It's Jordan's segment.
It's fucking now for the librarian. I'm Spook Pope Librarian. Shh, quiet, reading. Um, I mean, there's a lot of things that I could dig into, which
Like Uncle Billy?
we can talk about Uncle Billy, that drunken fool,
Dude, Uncle Billy's a trip.
uh,
He's got a farm going on in his office.
that crow.
Yeah, like
Um,
a
Was that a
squirrel and
crow or a
shit. Like
raven? I always get them confused.
ravens are bigger than crows, right?
I've seen some fat crows,
Yeah.
or maybe I've seen some fat ravens. I don't know. If it's a raven, that'd be kind of appropriate because the whole Mark Twain thing.
I think it's a crow because, like, if you look at a comparison between a crow and a raven, first of all, ravens are much larger,
Okay.
but also crows are kind of like sleeker. Ravens look like some rough and tumble motherfuckers who are ready to throw down.
I just typed into Google Ravens versus Crows.
You get a football match.
Raven v Crow. I found a YouTube video.
It's Raven Simone versus Russell Crowe.
So, first of all, it's a raven.
It is.
Second of all, it's named Jimmy the Raven.
Oh, okay.
All right.
And appeared in more than 1,000 feature films.
Oh, that's a
my
popular ass
God.
Raven.
That is the most prolific actor in Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen.
Give that Raven a star, dude. Holy shit.
Often incorrectly credited as Jimmy the Crow.
Wow.
It's the crow that landed on the scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz.
It's a raven. It's a raven, right?
Yeah, it says crow here, so I
the
was just
closest the closest human is Eric Roberts, and that is 401 movies.
Jimmy Stewart is quoted as saying, "When they call Jimmy, we both answer."
Damn, I didn't know Danny Trejo was number 5 with 317 movies.
Sam
Mickey
Jackson's up
Rooney.
there on that list, isn't he?
No, he's not even in the top 10.
Really?
Mickey Rooney's 335. I don't know why he's not up here. I would think he would be up here.
Jimmy the Raven also received a Red Cross Gold Medal in acknowledgement of 200 hours spent entertaining veterans after the war. And
how is
his
the Raven
footprints
entertaining veterans?
I don't know. It doesn't give me those details. But his footprints were enshrined in cement at a large Los Angeles pet store alongside Lassie and other Hollywood animal stars.
Yeah. So,
his last credited film was Three Ring Circus in 1954, after which little is known about him. Jimmy the Raven just up and dusted, dude.
Probably went to Raven Heaven.
Yeah,
That's
Samuel L. Jackson, only 153 movies. That's surprising.
That's a cool factoid,
That's a lot, dude.
That's a cool factoid.
Oh, damn, I didn't know he is 71. He looks good.
You know what? We're just gonna read the entire itinerary of Jimmy the Raven real quick. This
How about we don't?
Deserves our respect. Jimmy
Jesus.
the Raven,
God
often credited as Jimmy the Crow,
Buckle
was
up.
a raven who appeared in more than 1,000 feature films from the 1930s through the 1950s. He first appeared in You Can't Take It With You in 1938, after which director Frank Capra cast the bird in every subsequent movie he made.
Wow.
Among his roles were Uncle Billy's pet, seen in The Building Alone in It's a Wonderful Life, and the crow that landed on the scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz. Jimmy belonged to Hollywood animal trainer Curly Twyford, who found the bird in a nest in the Mojave Desert in 1934. What an origin story. Twyford trained Jimmy to do an assortment of tricks, such as typing, opening letters, and even riding a tiny motorcycle. Things that would make him appealing to use in films. Jimmy could understand several hundred words, though only around 50 were what Twyford called useful. It took Jimmy a week to learn a new useful word, 2 weeks if it had 2 syllables. Okay. Twyford said that Jimmy could perform any task that an 8-year-old child could. See bird intelligence. His human co-stars were complimentary of the bird. When they call Jimmy, we both answer, remarked Jimmy Stewart on the set of It's a Wonderful Life, noting that the Raven is the smartest actor on the set, requiring fewer retakes than his human counterparts. As he became more popular with the studio, Metro Goldwyn Mayer had him insured for $10,000. Lloyd's of London wrote a policy to cover Jimmy's $500 a week fee. Holy shit.
Damn!
As well as Curly Twyford's $200 handler fee. Bro, this dude was breaking it in with this bird. 1,000 movies at $700 a week?
Dude,
Yo!
a raven's lifespan is 10 to 15 years. I mean, he did on average maybe a little bit less than 100 films a year.
Well, I mean, he would have had to have lived for 20 years because he started in 1938. Well, no, 16 years. He was alive for at least
He was
16
an
years
old raven then.
because of his. Anyway, let's see. What does it say here? In the event Jimmy forgot any of the words he would need on set, Twyford credited these fees with keeping him solvent during World War II. At one point, Jimmy had 21 stand ins, 15 of which were female, who would fill in for him when the scene did not require any tricks or movement. Dude, the bird has stunt doubles. That's crazy.
By the way, 16 years, 1,000 films, that's 62 films a year.
Yo.
62.
See, Jimmy received the Red Cross Gold Medal in acknowledgement of 2 hours spent entertaining veterans after the war, and his footprints were enshrined in cement large Los Angeles pet store alongside Lassie and other Hollywood animal stars. His last created film was Three Ring Circus in 1954, after which little is known about him, though Curly Twyford said Jimmy would probably live to be 150 years old, which the papers reprinted. In reality, ravens seldom live more than 30 years in captivity. Twyford died in 1956 at the age of 60.
Jesus.
Incredible. Just really, really a cool factoid.
That is way more information than I expected to find about that bird.
Bird has lived the life of 100 people. Like, that's a bitchin' bird, dude.
How many birds do you know that can ride a fucking motorcycle?
Get on Jimmy's level. If I ever have the opportunity of having a pet raven, I know its name immediately.
I mean, I fucking hate birds, but I'm down with Jimmy the Raven.
Yeah.
Jimmy the Raven was a homie.
I feel like Jimmy the Raven, he'd be cool, you know? You
Yeah,
can tell
yeah,
him.
we could kick it and have a beer with Jimmy the Raven.
He probably opened that beer for us.
Damn right he would. On his motorcycle.
On his motorcycle, like, go get us a beer. Hits him a little
Can
trailer.
I find a clip of Jimmy the Raven on a motorcycle?
I actually looked at up in YouTube trying to find something.
Wait.
I looked up Jimmy the Crow, and I got a lot of Jim Crow things. For some reason, I'm getting a lot of
I'm so sorry.
I'm also getting a lot of blackface videos. I'm like, what the heck?
Jeez.
This is gonna ruin my algorithm.
I've Googled incorrectly.
This is gonna ruin my YouTube algorithm now. I'm starting to recommended these crazy ass videos.
Well, anyway, today we learned about Jimmy the Raven, the greatest actor in Hollywood history.
Yeah, really the star of the show, let's be honest.
As it turns out. Jimmy
I'm still
Raven.
surprised Danny Trejo starred in over 300 effing movies.
Starred or appeared?
Appeared.
Okay. That makes more sense. I was like, I haven't seen Homeboy that many times.
You probably haven't, just haven't noticed it.
Maybe. Anyway. Good old crazy Uncle Billy.
Oh, we also learned something new this movie. We learned about a 4F card.
Yes. Yes. Something that isn't really a thing.
You know, it's a draft card to show, I think to show draft exemptions, maybe, right?
I don't know if that's specifically for draft exemptions.
Wasn't Potter handling those?
I don't think he was handling them, no. That was something the government handed out. But it was something that Clarence brought up because George was going through his pockets after he was being shown the town if he was never born. And Clarence was like, you're not going to find your license, your ID, your will, your 4F card. He was listing off all these things that he would have had on him. Lastly, would be the pedals that Zuzu gave him.
In his insurance.
And yeah, there you go. That's what I was thinking of. Not will. The insurance.
So it says draft classification 4F, defined by General Lewis B. Hershey, the Director of Selective Service, is a category of men found unfit for military
Mm.
service due to physical, mental, or moral. I don't know what a moral reason would be, but there you go.
So I guess that I guess like during those times, if you were of age to have been drafted, it probably looked really bad that you weren't in the military, right? So you had to have some type of excuse maybe to make it just
or they think you're a
acceptable.
Well,
deserter. No, because the cops, if the cops found out
Oh,
and you're a
true.
deserter of the draft,
Yeah,
they'll forcibly push you into the draft, forcibly
right.
take you and
there you
draft
go.
you.
Draft dodging was a serious crime.
I'm sure it was for that, but it was also there was also a cultural impact, right? So I'm sure a
Sure.
bunch of people are really sour about their sons going to war and they see this eligible person. Why aren't you in the war? My sons are over there. So this was something, that they could say this is why. I'm sure there was a lot of other challenges that we just never hear about that came of it, right? Those disdains that others would have looking upon eligible men that could have gone and been drafted instead of maybe that person's son or father or whomever. So
Them damn Richards who bought 4F cards.
yeah, really got bone spurs, yeah, sure. I've gone through my notes. I have a lot of notes here. Most of it is just so I can remember specific things about the movie, but I think that we've gone over a lot of it already.
Touched upon the important
We have
findings.
there. This movie is just so God, it's packed with so much, right? That
Yeah.
I could talk in depth about a lot of different scenes that we've mulled over here. But I don't think that there'll be any more value for this conversation. I think that we've really dove into as much as we could. At least I feel like I've dove into as much as I could. So
Yeah, I mean you're 100% right. Like there's 1,000 things that we could deep dive on, like the 4K HD transfer of the film and how you can pick out that George is smoking a corncob pipe instead of
oh
just any
yeah,
old random pipe.
Yeah,
Um, or the little details in the movie that probably nobody saw before those HD transfers, like how George still has rice in his hair when he runs over to the building alone after he gets married and doesn't have a chance to go on its honeymoon. Um, how Mary has this fucking Clark Kent thing going on when
oh
he
yeah.
goes to the world where he was never born, and
yeah, that was weird.
it's hard to tell that that's even the same actor. Or my man Uncle Billy, who lets us know that the three greatest sounds in the world are breakfast is served, lunch is served, and dinner is served.
Excellent.
Man after my own heart.
One thing I do want to take note of is the scene right before George and Mary get married, which is fucking hard to watch, really. Um, where George is kind of wandering around the streets after his brother comes home and he's this hero and he just got married and all this shit, and he ends up over at Mary's house, and his her mother's giving him a hard time because she doesn't like George. She wants Mary to end up with Sam because he's got money,
She really
going
doesn't like
places.
George.
He really doesn't like George. Um, and at one point she says, "What did he come over here for?" And Mary just kind of looks at him and goes, "What did you come over here for?" He says, "I don't know. Fucking leaving. I'm out of here. Whatever." And Sam calls and
Oh,
he's talking to him about getting in on the ground floor of plastics. And
really quick before
yeah,
that, a funny line that Mary throws out when her mom asks what they're doing. She's like, "We're having what'd you say? We're violently making love or something like that."
he's
Oh
making violent
yeah,
love
He's
to me.
making violent love to me, mother. Just such a smart ass.
just to get under her skin.
I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? But then we find out not too long afterwards when George just starts shaking Mary. Like, and that's what I want to bring up is he gets really upset because he this is kind of like his breaking point, right? Where he sees all these good things happening to the people around him, specifically his brother, and how nothing has gone his way. And he says, I just want to do what I want. And he gets a little rough and tumble with Mary. I'm not gonna lie. He's just shaking her. Um Made me a little uncomfortable to watch.
I mean, there's a lot of things back in those days that make me uncomfortable. The fact that it's commonplace to smack around a small child.
Smack the shit out of a small child.
Dude, he wasn't even stopping neither. He was going to town.
Or,
Fuck him up.
or just having a small child work for you. Just also awkward and weird.
Sure, sure.
Sending
Yeah,
sending your piss drunk uncle to walk home with no supervision.
right.
That also is weird. I would definitely walk him
Nah,
home.
Billy will be fine.
Ah, he's got it. He'll fall in a bush or something. Yeah, that was roughly. I understand because his whole life up until that point, him and Mary have always played this on again, off again. Not that they've dated, but they've always played with each other, right? They've always had that type of relationship, and I think at that moment he was just tired of it, right? He didn't want to lose another thing. He was tired of taking those L's, so he took the W for himself, and he got the girl that he wanted. Although,
Yeah.
He shook that W right out of her, man.
yeah,
Jesus.
a little weird, right? But I think that was an acting choice, maybe. So yeah, but and then the mother clutches her pearls when she sees them embraced and runs back up the stairs.
Literally.
Yeah. But that was, he has very few W's in this movie. That was one of them. Actually getting married,
Yeah.
getting the girl he wanted,
Mhm.
and not letting his friend just swoop in
Sam.
and take him. Yeah.
Yeah, even when Sam called him, he like got on the phone and was like, "Oh, what, you talking to my girl?" And I was like, "Oh shit, wow."
Yeah. And obviously
Well,
their friendship transcends Mary because Sam didn't give a damn. He was perfectly fine. He was unfazed by the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about it, George actually ends up with a lot of W's in the movie.
I don't think he breaks even though.
I don't know that he breaks even either, but he does come out on top more often than I think most people give him credit for. Because it's a matter of perspective, right? So, like, on the one hand, you'd be like, well, when he was a child, he got sick and lost hearing in his ear. On the other hand, he saved his brother from drowning. On the one hand, he has to go through all this shit and watch his brother be successful and get married, but he also got his high school sweetheart and had 3 children. 4 children?
4.
Maybe
I
four.
think it's 4.
Four.
Um,
3 girls and a boy.
yeah, so he has 4 wonderful children with the woman of his dream. He gets stuck in Bedford Falls basically forever, but he convinced the board to overthrow Potter of all people and save the building alone. He managed to prop up this brand new suburb and get all these people houses who would have otherwise been out,
Homeless.
down and out. So my point is that, and I think one of the underlying points of the film maybe is that it's all a matter of perspective. George is at the end of his rope because he's looking at it from all the negative angles.
He's looking at his personal sacrifice only.
I mean, he's looking at it from like this "what have you done for me lately" type of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, he got a beautiful home, a beautiful wife, a beautiful family, a whole town who cares for him, a good job. He has really everything a man could ask. And the only thing that truly goes devastatingly wrong for him gets turned around immediately by all of his family and friends.
Yeah.
I think the only thing in this whole movie that you can say is truly like an L for him that doesn't get compensated to him in any way, shape, or form is his hearing. Losing his hearing. But I mean, like, again, the trade-off for that is that his brother's life was saved. To your point earlier, Jordan, like that's not equivalent exchange. He saved his brother's life for the loss of hearing in 1 year. I mean, like that's
He
a
should be a suit of
absolute
armor. I
win.
know.
He should be a blood stain on the inside of a suit of armor. Um, so my point is, like, at the end of the day, we call this an absolute win. Everything does kind of come up Millhouse.
I think that's what the movie tries to impart at the end, right?
Right.
And it does a very good job of it. I think it does an incredible job of it. Very, very, very deep. Sometimes it's hard to watch. You know, you're always rooting for him.
Poignant. Yep.
Great movie. Definitely one of the greatest of all time. So I can see why it's on people's lists, you know, consistently.
Must watch list. Yeah.
For sure.
Gentlemen, Jordan, let's start with you. How do you rate this movie?
I'm gonna give it. This movie is gonna get. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. This movie's getting 85 bells out of 53.
Ooh, I like that.
Yep.
What about you, John?
I'm gonna have to say 18 sleigh bells out of 20 and a partridge in a pear tree.
Ooh, and a partridge in a pear tree. I love it. I love it. I love it. For me personally, I think I'm gonna give this movie 333,626.92 bells out of 10.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Glorious scale. Glorious.
Gentlemen, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
Don't take what you got for granted. You never know what you got till it's lost.
I learned Batman Returns is a Christmas movie.
As always, before we go, remember that you can catch the show live every week on Twitch an entire week before it goes live on all other feeds, as well as submit your questions and comments for us to read live on the show. If you're listening to this after the fact, follow us and leave a review on your service of choice. And don't forget that you can chat with us anytime over in our Discord server. You can find all the relevant links below. And as always, man is never a failure who has friends.